Hi, so I just wanted to jump on and talk because I'm a little bit excited about the uh, event wave, the grand solar event that people are talking about, that's going to lead to this shift in consciousness, elevation of human consciousness. I might dance around it a bit here, so please forgive me because I'm trying to put together so many bits of information and get this as succinct as possible. So, as some of you know, for a long time now, I've been getting messages of a great wave of energy or light. Well, everything's energy, but a great wave of energy, light coming in. That is going to change the way, to a large degree, we experience things, and this rise in humanity's collective consciousness that we've been longing for, many of us. So for a long time now, I've, especially the last year, I've been very drawn to photograph the sun and to observe the changes happening with the sun, the colours that were emitting from it, and different things. I was also shown that this wave of energy would come from the sun in some capacity. So probably 18 months ago, I would get this vision of being out and about, everyone going about their day as normal, and looking up and seeing what I call an aquamarine colour approaching, and knowing that this somehow signified that it was coming. I also had a vision of holding a hand up to my heart and another hand out, almost as if transmitting the energy that was in my heart. Now, I don't think this is going to be a physical gesture that I do. I believe it's more symbolic of the fact of being aware that this energy is approaching, consciously drawing in as much of it as I can, and then embodying it, being this energy that's arriving, and in that sense, through embodying it, transmitting it to everyone around. It's a very powerful love energy. It is pure cosmic love energy. I think it will be unlike anything most of us have ever experienced before, unless you've been lucky enough to tap into that through your own practices and different experiences. So I'm really excited about that. Now, the thing that really helped me put together the pieces of my own puzzle was I watched a YouTube video with Amanda Lawrence and Alicia Gonzalez. I've watched Amanda for a while, and I find that I resonate very strongly with all the messages that she brings in. And while I don't have anywhere near the number of followers or anything like that, for me personally, it's very comforting because it tends to confirm the things that I'm feeling for myself. I've not seen Alicia before, but a lot of the things she was talking about from a more scientific perspective about the sun resonated and matched a lot of the things that I'd been drawn to observe myself. So, in simple terms, human terms, I think what we're going to expect is basically a huge solar storm. There's going to be, and I can't see clearly whether it's going to be multiple coronial mass ejections, either within a short time span or possibly even simultaneously, which will create this huge blast of photon plasma light, which is directed towards us. I am shown that there will be the phenomenon that can be seen in the sky. I feel very strongly this will be the northern lights, or very close to that sort of lights dancing across the sky as it interacts with our, this energy interacts with our environment. Yeah, so what I didn't realize was significant was the fact that in my vision, it was always daytime. And it felt towards the second half of the day, not the mornings. I don't know how I know that. It just feels like that. Alicia is in Mexico, and she has had a vision, and for her the vision, it comes at nighttime where she is, because she sees the stars in the sky. Amanda has spoken about for her knowing it comes during the daytime hours, and it comes from the west. It comes to the planet from the west. So that got me curious, and for those three factors to work, I believe it will hit us mid to late afternoon, probably sort of towards the later 5 p.m.-ish, roughly, whenever it happens, because that would work, making it daytime here but evening, daytime in England but morning, and it would be middle of the night for Mexico. And if it was to happen here, none of that would fit. And that's not to say that I'm right and that's how it will, but to me that helped me piece the puzzles together, that if that's correct in those time frames, then that feels right for the time frame that I'm picking up. So if you're wondering what a huge solar storm looks like, Google the Carrington Event. It was a huge geomagnetic storm that hit the planet back in 1859 and took down all the telegram equipment, telegraph stations. People would get electrocuted when they were working on things, and even though there was they disconnected the telegram system from its power source, it was still sending telegrams because there was that much electricity being flooded in. It lasted several days. You could see the northern lights as far as Tahiti. People saw a huge flash, and then basically the sky was so bright that they could read during the middle of the night from its light with no problem. So I think we're looking at that on a huge level. Watching the video before got me interested in exploring solar cycles and what happens within them. And even though NASA, and there's a lot of predictions that this is going to be an incredibly weak solar cycle. It began, I think around December 2019. But already since that date, the actual events compared to the predictions are double. So I'm thinking that prediction is a bit off. They also believe that it's not just an 11-year solar cycle, which is based on averages. There is what they class as a maverick cosmologist. I don't know the correct terminology here. I'm just doing this for reference. But he believes there's a greater 22-year cycle, and there's specific events called terminators that mark the beginning and the end of a solar cycle, and some can stretch out for up to 13, 14 years instead of the 11 average that's predicted. So based on that, I have a feeling that we're going to see solar activity continue to intensify. So anytime there's a coronal mass ejection or a CME, or any kind of solar winds that are directed towards the planet, that's going to affect us because we are electromagnetic. I mean, they say it doesn't affect people, but we're electromagnetic. You know, our heart and our minds generate an electromagnetic field, so of course it's going to affect us. Crazy. But anyway, from a more spiritual perspective, what is actually happening, I believe, and again, I only take what feels right to you with all of this, but the suns act as communication stations and transfer information to each other. So, and I'm not 100% certain on this, it's just what I can feel my way into. There is the grand central sun at the galactic core. This is an etheric sun. It basically feeds life force, the creator energy into the whole universe. So it communicates with the central suns of all the galaxies. So for us, it's Alcyone in the Pleiades. So the grand central sun needs to communicate with its central suns in the galaxy, but the communication needs to be dropped down in frequency so that it's a level that those central suns can receive and integrate the information, and then they in turn transmit it to the suns in all the solar systems. So for our sun, Sol, who goes by many names, receives that from Alcyone in the Pleiades, and then again integrates it, and then transmits that same information, but in a lower, weaker, I suppose, more diluted frequency, so that it can be received and integrated by the planets and the beings that inhabit them. So ultimately, not every time there's a coronal mass ejection or some activity, it is directing a higher consciousness to the planet, and in turn us, of course. But this is going to be different. This is going to be huge, and I believe there's the potential there for this 3 days of darkness that's being referenced. And I feel for sure this relates to total communication darkness, so electrical grids going out, communication systems, navigation systems, everything. For some reason, I feel like it would be a time when only emergency broadcast equipment worked, nothing else. But I also feel that there could possibly be the potential for the sun to actually change in some way and either appear dark, or I don't know. I'm just speculating here when it comes to this, because this aspect of it, because I'm really not sure, and I'm hoping that in time perhaps I get more clarity. Maybe I won't. Maybe I just have to wait and find out. So every time there's intense solar activity, it over time esoterically has led to a rise and elevation in human consciousness, and this is what we're coming to. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what has been talked about, and I feel like it's coming, and it's coming sooner than I actually thought. I honestly don't know when, to be honest. I just feel things are accelerating. The further we've moved and continue to move into the photon belt, it's like this journey takes on a trajectory of its own, and we're now being pulled into position for this to occur. We can accelerate by with each rise of consciousness, with each new person, that accelerates it as well. But yeah, it's kind of no turning back now. There hasn't been for a while, but it's really pronounced now. So anyway, spiritually, this energy from the grand central sun is being filtered down through its connection stations so that we can receive it, and it can, it's not to be afraid of. It's radiation, but it's cosmic radiation, so it's not like man-made. It's cleansing, it's purifying, it reconnects things that have been dormant within us, like our crystalline DNA, other things. It does, it's here for good, so don't be afraid of it. It's the lead up to it that's the fun part, as we're purging all this stuff. It's like this, it's like at the moment, and it has been for a long time, each time these energies come in, but now they're relentless. There was a break before, there hasn't been for such a long time. This year kicked off to a bang of a start. Day, energy. So anyway, getting distracted here. But each time these energies come in, it's like an ocean surge where, the everything at the bottom of the ocean gets stirred up and brought to the surface and floats around everywhere. And that's what we're dealing with a lot of the time. And often it's stuff that, we didn't even remember was down there. And that's why it's sort of like, well, why am I feeling like this? Everything's okay. Or, things are going well. I can't understand why I'm feeling all this anxiety or all this anger or all this grief. yeah. Anyway, that's enough on that. So, simple terms, we're expecting a huge solar storm, but it's going to be magic. More spiritually, we're receiving the energies and moving into the position that we need to be for this to have the maximum impact. And it's going to be this pure creator love force that comes in. How they're going to change, I don't know exactly. I just know that they will. And it may just be subtle changes, but on some level, everyone's going to see the world differently after this. So anyway, hope that helps. And if you have any questions, just put them below or get in touch with me. And yeah, this is the rough, well, there's been several rough bits, but this feels like it's a particularly rough bit still over the next 5-6 weeks. So just trust that something's coming, and I hope this helps you understand it a little bit more. And yeah, take care. Sending you all love. Bye.